It was a simple levitation spell, one I should have been able to do with ease, one I had memorized from the spell scroll in Papa's study. Stretching out my hand, I closed my eyes and tried again. I imagined the large stone rising into the air and hovering over the ground at eye level. When I opened my eyes, though, the stone had barely lifted an inch from the pathway. Dropping my hand in frustration, I blew out a heated breath. The stone crashed back to the ground with a clunk. I'd been working on that spell for months, and still nothing. I should have powers like Papa, who was one of the strongest, most respected sorcerers in all the kingdom of Roveria. And yet I was unable to levitate a stone, and also forbidden to attempt any type of magic. He refused to allow me to practice magic or even learn basic spells. If Papa knew I was in his study memorizing spell scrolls, well, let's just say he wouldn't be happy with me. I never understood why he was so adamant I stay away from magic when he had it coming out his ears. It was hard not to resent him for that. He was, after all, the only parent I had since my mother died when I was young. I had no memory of her other than the stories Papa told me about her as I grew up. He said I had her eyes and her smile. He never mentioned how she died, and I sensed something about the way she died indicated he never wanted to mention it again. One of my earliest memories was spending time with him in his spellcasting room, watching him create potions and write spell scrolls. When I took an interest in magic as well, he banished me from that room, forbidding me from ever using magic. He was vehement that I never use magic and told me often to stay away from it, though I never understood why. Sometimes I wondered if it had to do with my mother's death. An unwavering need to learn magic and use it burned through me. I wanted more in life. I wanted to harness the power like he did. He really gave me no choice but to sneak into his workroom and memorize spells. I had a gift for memorization. I saw words in my mind. Now, at 17, he was determined to marry me off to a rich noble, and, well, I wasn't having it. I rejected 2 suitors already. One had the personality of a wooden stump. The other had grabby hands and was determined to ruin my reputation on the first meeting. Inhaling a deep breath, I took in the scents of the greenhouse. At this time of year, everything was beginning to bloom before being relocated to the massive estate gardens. The seeds were cultivated during the long winter, and now it was time to plant. Some were flowers, while others were vegetables and fruits that would sustain the household through the next few seasons. I didn't have much of a green thumb, but I still enjoyed spending time with my hands in the dirt. I helped the gardeners plant their seeds and take care of the fledgling plants all winter. When my secret magic studies frustrated me, I came here to expend pent-up energy and calm my mind. Some good that did. I was still unable to levitate a stupid rock. There were days when I felt as though I was on the cusp of having a major magical breakthrough, and others where I felt as though I had not 1 ounce of magic within me. Perhaps Papa was right in that I didn't possess the magical ability as he did. But no, I refused to believe that was true. I was able to lift the rock an inch, so there must be some deep hidden glimmer of magic in there somewhere. Ah, there you are, Violet. I thought I might find you here. Papa entered the greenhouse with his slow, limping gait, an old injury that bothered him most days when the weather was foul. He paused next to me on the pathway between several of the planters' tables. "What are you doing out here?" he asked. Hesitation pumped through me, not wanting to tell him I'd been practicing magic, because that would get me a lecture. I wasn't in the mood for a lecture. "Just checking on the plants." A lie. He probably knew it, too, by the sideways look he gave me, but he said nothing more about it. "Well, I've come to retrieve you. Lord Desmond has arrived. He's waiting for you in the library." I resisted the urge to scowl and roll my eyes. This was the 3rd suitor in as many weeks. Lord Desmond Rochester was the Earl of Unabridged, whose first wife died childless. His second wife also failed to produce a male heir, so he cast her aside to a nunnery. A nunnery! On the charge of adultery, though I suspected the adulterer was the Lord himself.